So I want to welcome everyone that's shown up tonight and everyone that will be watching this recording to our second Catalyst Open Night. Now, just a reminder, the reason that we're having these is because we want to invite people that aren't in the Catalyst crew, that aren't doing transformation, that might be interested in the stuff that we're interested in, to just come along and hang out. We want to create a space to network, to connect, to build confidence. For coaches, for people interested in any sort of transformation or growth. So welcome. Now, tonight we have our holiday survival guide. Now, it's the most wonderful time of year, apparently, allegedly. It is also a famously fraught, tense, busy, eggshells walking, family, work, booze, jobs, food, everything is going on. There is a lot.
Don't forget money.
Money, time, money. Everything's going on. So we wanted to take this evening to have a look at our toolkits, see what we're doing, see if we can, pump up our toolkits a little bit. And to kick us off, we are going to have the amazing Jazz Kirby. So Jazz is one of our founding Catalyst Transformation members. And on a personal note, watching and working with Jazz over the last year, watching her develop as a coach, watching her develop as a business owner, watching her develop as a speaker and a person of influence has been astounding. And I know Mum can attest to this as well.
You want me to?
Of course.
I know my journey with Jazz started quite a few years ago, and the person that I see today clearly recognizes the person she was because she was there. But there is such a huge difference in outlook, in expectation, in all of those things. Like Jazz glows now with a knowing about what it's all about. Yeah.
She has a deep commitment to empowering and supporting women. And through her business, Transformed by Jazz, she has helped them overcome burnout, trauma, and she is guiding women towards a path of empowerment. Her rich and diverse practice is built on a combination of her lived experience, and that was chasing emptiness to the top of the corporate ladder, as well as diverse coaching modalities. She is trained in NLP, masculine feminine coaching, matrix therapies, passion and purpose, breath work, nervous system regulation. I'm running out of fingers to list. But what really sets Jazz apart as a coach, aside from her cheeky sense of British humor, is the way that she can weave unwavering love with unfiltered candor. She is not one to shy away from confronting the difficult truths and challenges that her clients have when needed. She's been there, she's done it, and she can talk the talk because she's walked the walk. So I'm not going to make you wait any longer. We will have Jazz take the floor.
Thank you, Jess and Kat. Quite lovely listening to all that. Thank you. All right, so I am here tonight to tell you about how you've been lied to. It doesn't have to be hard to be happy. But before I jump into that, I'm going to set the scene a little bit and take you back to a time before I knew about this work. I spent all my time chasing external validation. So I was like going hard after things like job titles, salaries, cars, fancy handbags, houses, you name it. I went after it. All of the things. And I got all of it. But what I didn't get was, I guess, the sense of happiness that I thought each of those things was going to bring me. And I went to some extremes. I didn't just move countries. I moved to the other side of the world, possibly as far away from my family and friends as I could get. I was 24. I didn't know anybody in Australia. I just knew I had a job here and I could get to work and carry on chasing some more of the things. And looking back now, I can see that at that point I was probably just running away from my problems in England. But that's a story for another time. So every time I achieved one of the things off my list, ticked off another milestone, I didn't even stop to celebrate it. I just rushed on to the next thing, next thing, next thing. And instead of feeling happier and happier with each one, I was kind of just getting emptier and emptier. And that's when I guess I realized that all these things, external things, weren't bringing me what I needed. And the way I was living my life, I was probably fighting a bit of a losing battle, to be fair. So the job that I was in at the time, like, I gave my soul for that job. I worked days, evenings, weekends. I was available on the phone 24/7. My manager was in England on the opposite time schedule. So it was like no let up. And I was praised hugely for that at the time. But now, knowing what I know now, it was really unhealthy and my nervous system was shot. Hence why I ended up very unwell. And so I wasn't getting the value in return from the job that I'd spent 10 years working in. Actually was ended up being like really stabbed in the back for my loyalty, which was really, really rough thing to go through. So I decided at that point, a fresh start was the thing that was going to fix it all. So off I go and leave behind the business I've spent 10 years building. Don't work on my mental health in between, because like, duh, why would I do that? I think I probably could have done with someone dishing me out a few hard truths before I made that move, to be quite honest. So I am in my new job and I am in an office, hiding on my own, bawling my eyes out. I am so far out of my depth now. Imposter syndrome is like hitting hard. I am freaking out inside. I am so reactive. I am assuming like negative intent in everything that anyone does. And like, I'm not in control of my mind or my body. So I had loads of physical symptoms that showed how mentally unwell I was. I had like constant jitters. I had really bad gut issues, which were really horrible to deal with. I had skin issues, so my face was covered in eczema, acne. I had cold sores. There's one picture that my mum actually reached out and was like, Jasmine, have you been beaten up? That's how bad I looked on the outside. And I couldn't finish a sentence. So I would forget what I was trying to say halfway through. And when I was in like a senior leadership role at the time. I was supposed to be, a person of knowledge. I was supposed to be advising other people. And I couldn't even remember what I was trying to say. It was so embarrassing in a professional setting. And it even got to the point with that my friends then started talking about like an intervention, because they could see how unwell I was. Like, I was just a shell of who I was before. And gets quite dark. Like, at that point, I'm waking up every day wishing that basically I died in my sleep. I just couldn't face another day. Like, I didn't have a plan to commit suicide, but I just did not want to be alive anymore. So yeah, when I found myself hiding in that office crying, feeling completely trapped, there was just like a knowing inside of me that this is not it. Like, this is not doing life right. There's got to be more out there for me. And it was at that point, with my tail between my legs, I went back to my coach, the lovely cat, and she helped me climb like out of the darkness again. We worked through clearing the negative influences that I'd latched onto, clearing my limiting beliefs, and like starting to think about what I actually really wanted from my future. And it turns out that all along, freedom had been one of my highest values, which it makes sense why I felt so trapped working for other people. I wanted to be in control of my own schedule, and I wanted to be next to the ocean every day, which I am now, and I love my life now, thankfully. So doing that work with Kat and working on myself and seeing how things were changing for my life, that's kind of when it really landed. Like, this was life-changing stuff. And it was a way that I could find like purpose and fulfillment in my career again, because my career before wasn't very fulfilling at all. It took a lot away from me. And so I also realized it could support the lifestyle I wanted so badly for myself as well, which the corporate ladder was never going to give me. I was going to be tied to a desk in an office for the rest of my life. And so I got my qualifications and I started to think about building a business. And it's kind of just grown from there, and it is bringing me lots of fulfillment. And as I was getting my qualifications and setting up my business, that's when I found nervous system regulation, which was a new concept to me at the time. And it was kind of like the icing on the cake. And it was at that point that I was like, hang on a minute, this is really simple and it's really quick. And I was like, doesn't have to be so hard. And like up until that point, like most of my life, I had believed that healing was like sitting in a psychologist's office for years and years, week after week, just emptying out over and over again, but not really getting any like resolution or practical steps forward. And then when I found the nervous system regulation in conjunction with the coaching tools, it was like big aha moment. I was like, it actually doesn't have to be like that. There is another way to do this, and it's a lot quicker and a lot more simple. And don't get me wrong though, clearing the negative influences and the limiting beliefs, it's not necessarily easy on your emotions, right? But it does provide a solution. Like, it's not going to take years, like sitting and emptying your heart out in a psychologist's office. And it solves the problem, like literally bye-bye triggers. The triggers that I have or had around my family were huge, and they are just no longer there anymore, which is amazing. And then learning the nervous system regulation tools in the meantime it's like learning to flick a switch. You can literally change your state in any given moment. And it just gives you that little bit of time, like a little reprieve, to kind of step back, pivot, and actually choose to do something differently this time from a place of centeredness and calmness, rather than from a place of reaction and repeating all those old patterns over and over again. So coming into the holidays, we've got, like Jess was saying earlier, like we've got the family gatherings, we've got the Christmas work parties, we've got maxed out schedules. For a lot of people, Christmas is like peak business time, like it's super busy, overtime. You're tired, heightened emotions, throw some alcohol on top of that, and like, boom, triggers galore, right? So how would you like to arm yourself with tools that mean you don't bite Uncle Bob's head off for making a stupid racist remark? You take a minute, you regulate your nervous system, and you respond in a way that is cool, calm, and collected, meaningful, and a way that you are proud of, rather than reacting from a space of agitation or anger. So yeah, these nervous system regulation tools, they are the thing that gives you that moment to make that different choice this time around, instead of acting out the same scenarios over and over again. And the great thing about them is they don't just relate to Christmas and family. Once you learn these, you can take them into other areas of your life as well, where you might feel pressured or stressed. Gonna be really honest, public speaking has always been a bit of a nemesis for me, so I damn well used them today before coming in to make sure I was cool, calm, and collected too, and could give this my best. So for people that are comfortable to participate, I would love to take you through a little breathing exercise, which is just one of the nervous system regulation tools. So if you'd like to just get comfy in your chair and close down your eyes, we're going to start off by breathing in and out through our nose. By breathing through our nose, we access our parasympathetic nervous system, and that helps us to get into or remain in the rest and digest state, which is where we want to be unless there is actually a genuine emergency. So some nice big deep breaths in through your nose. Try and breathe down and into your belly and fill it up. And on your next breath in, I want you to imagine that you're breathing in white light, clean energy, high vibes, all the way down to your belly. So it's filling you up. And on your next breath out, we're just letting go of all the stagnant, low vibe energy that we don't want to keep hold of. And then the next breath in, I want you to just think about relaxing the muscles in your forehead. And on your next breath out, I want you to think about relaxing your eyebrows and just letting them drop. And then next, we're going to relax the muscles in our cheeks. And then next breath out, relaxing the muscles in our jaw. Next breath out, just letting your tongue drop out of the roof of your mouth. And then we're going to relax our shoulders. Give them a little roll if you need. I want you to take one more big breath into the bottom of your belly. And on your exhale, just let it out with a little sigh as well. And when you're feeling ready, you can open your eyes again. So hopefully everyone should be feeling a little bit more relaxed now and can see that that literally takes a couple of minutes. Once you really get to know the tools, like I can regulate my nervous system in about 30 seconds most of the time now. So it gets to be easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I'm pretty sure you have something else to share with everyone here today.
So obviously off the back of Christmas and everything that's going on, I've created a little package, a Christmas survival package, where I'm offering teaching obviously the nervous system regulation tools through breath, movement, and meditation. And we'll also go through some mindset theory to bring awareness to why we feel the triggers we do and how we process that information and how we could change it. And also doing a clearing on a negative emotion or belief that you hold around something specific at Christmas. And with the combination of those three tools, you're walking into Christmas with a tool belt full of resources to help you have a peaceful and enjoyable Christmas, which is what it should be, right? It's meant to be a happy time of year. And look, we can't rely on other people being, changing their behaviors, but we can do something to change how we react and respond to things and just make it more enjoyable for us. Like, I am Christmas's biggest fan. Like, I bloody love Christmas. I want to go in and enjoy every minute of it rather than feeling stressed. And I'd love to help some other people do that. So the package basically contains 3 one-on-one sessions with me. Each session is an hour and a half, and they're to be used over the course of the next 3 weeks or so that you're ready to go before you get to Christmas. And it's $600 for the package. And anybody that purchases that package also will get 10% off of my larger packages in the new year as well, if they want to dive a bit deeper and do some more work. So I would love to help anyone with their pre-Christmas preparation. And if anyone would like to have a bit of a deeper chat with me first before making a decision, I'll throw my Calendly link in the chat so you can book a time to have a chat.
Can I also double check, is this offer going to be available for people watching the recording as well?
Yes, as long as they get in touch with me before Christmas, absolutely.
Yeah. But it is limited to just 6?
6 slots,
six.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Just wanted to double check.
No worries.
Thank you so much for that. I
Thank you.
always feel I get such a buzz whenever you take us through that breathing exercise.
It's
Something
really nice, that one, isn't it?
I really need to remember to incorporate it more.
I can send you a little recording if you like.
Perfect.
Ah, that sounds divine. Thanks, Miss Jazz.
Thank you.
So, speaking of Christmas, or not just Christmas, but the holiday season, right? What's the biggest obstacle you have to enjoying your holiday season? You know, we threw out some before. Is it finances, time pressures, energy levels, family triggers? Throw up one. I mean, go off, come offline, unmute yourself.
Worthiness, self-worth around this time, I reckon. Big one.
Ah, cool. Cool.
Mine
Mine
was
would.
oh
Yeah, go on, go, Jazz.
mine majorly was family triggers. I think it's a bit different for me now, but yeah, I wouldn't spend like 5 minutes around my mum without freaking out, basically.
100%. Mine absolutely used to be family triggered. Family, absolutely. And what I love is how much my family have improved and how much they've changed and how much better they are now that I've done all the clearing work. It's like, oh, and now we're good. Yeah. What about you, Chloe?
Mine used to be when I was working corporate, like the drinking, partying. December 1st onwards was drinking at lunch, drinking after work, and going into, I got really sick every year and would end up in a pit of despair by the 15th of December. And then would go somewhere for New Year's and do the same thing. So
100% right.
getting sober, I'm excited, I think, for my first sober Christmas to be able to actually enjoy it.
So can you see any obstacles coming up that might stop you from enjoying it?
Being around other people that I know I'll be the only sober one. Then they'll have, 5 champagnes before midday. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of a test, but I've also sort of removed myself from those circles and situations. So I think, yeah, not being as busy is going to be a challenge. Sort of, what do I do?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So what's your default position? Okay. Are you a people pleaser, problem solver? Are you the cynic, the critic, or are you the pushover?
Could I have been all three?
Sure. What about you, Jazz?
I definitely waver between people pleaser and critic. Like, I'll help you, but why aren't you doing better now I've helped you?
What about at Christmas? What do you reckon? What do you do with the whole? Well, not I keep saying Christmas. It's the holiday season. There's so many different things that are on.
Well, it's going to be different for me this year. Going home for the first time at Christmas, like on the other end of the healing, it's going to be, I'm really actually quite excited for once instead of terrified.
Brilliant. So what was your default? What could you see as a potential default?
So like definitely with my brother having alcohol and addiction problems, everyone would be like on tenterhooks whether he would make it on Christmas Day or whether he'd spoil everyone's Christmas and not arrive and all that stuff. And so I would be like trying to make sure I'm in touch with him, make sure he is going to arrive, do everything I can to help him and set him up to be there on time. And then I'd be mad afterwards when it didn't work. Okay. That's how it used to go.
Yeah, I hear you.
Have you been secretly at our family Christmases in the past,
I
Jess?
know, but there's too many parallels, isn't there?
Prue.
I think I've been all three at different points in my life. Within the holiday season, I think I certainly become more of a pushover. I'm renowned for people pleasing, but come holiday time, I tend to just sit back and go, yeah, all right, I'll just do whatever to keep everyone else happy, because it hasn't always been happy around the household at Christmas. I think that's what my baseline over the holidays.
Yeah, I'm putting my hand up. Definitely a people pleaser, problem solver. What about you, Jess?
Oh, look, I mean, again, dancing around them all, but historically, the cynic critic. Just, yeah.
Yeah. So what do we mean by people pleaser? Wow. What we mean by this is that you abandon yourself in order to get the approval of others, and it never works. It never works, because what you do is you end up exhausted and resentful. All right. So what needs to happen is putting boundaries in place. And speaking as a reformed people pleaser, this can feel really, really, really uncomfortable. All right. So we need to start small. So the easiest way is to use agreement frames. Now, agreement frames are things where you say, I appreciate and, not but, I respect and, or I agree and. So an example of, look, I appreciate you asking me to have Christmas at my house again, and I'm away until the day before, so it would be better at someone else's house. Would be an example of, I appreciate. Or I respect and could sound like, I respect that you need help to get everything done so that, we can have the best job possible. And I will need to finish what I'm doing first in order to get through all of this. Well, that wasn't going to be easy for me, not in the beginning. And I agree. And so I agree. A month's holiday would be fantastic, but I really have, and I have very little time at the moment. So maybe a week away would be a lovely way for us to connect and enjoy time before getting back into the busyness of the year. So these agreement frames are really small ways that we can put boundaries in place. And what I found by using these is that I didn't die when I put a boundary in place. I said it and it would be fine. All right. Now, the sort of people pleasing I would do was on steroids. All right. Our house in Melbourne for Christmas Eve, we would have 80 people over, and I insisted on doing all the catering myself because I'm very capable. Right? I'm very capable, and I want to show everyone how I can do all of this for them. So our house would be filled with food. The boys would be furious. Can I eat this? No, you can't eat that. That's for Christmas. No, you can't eat that. That's for, the Christmas Eve. No, you can't eat that. And then I would be frantically cleaning everything because the house had to be spotless. All right. So then I would be shrieking at the kids because someone left a shoe somewhere or somebody didn't do this. And I told you that I needed that moved out of the way and you haven't done it. So now I'm going to shriek at you. Like the tension levels would get like this. Then I'd have to get the kids in and, do this, do that, be shrieking at them to make sure that the garden was weeded and make sure, because everything had to be perfect. It didn't matter people coming at night. All right. And then Everyone would come and have a fabulous time, and I would be bloody exhausted. Didn't enjoy it at all. It would go past, and I'd be like, whoa, what just happened? Then I got a little bit smarter. So I remember the last one we had, I actually asked people to contribute. Wow. People brought the most extraordinary things because they were so thrilled to be a part of the celebration and feel as though it was a communal effort, not just the thing, right? Boundaries and self-love. Does that feel possible? Does anyone here relate to this sort of people-pleasing thing, or is it just me? Okay, good. Because yeah, I was the people pleaser from hell.
Did you find that when you Prue's hand is up? Did you find that even that big step of feeling like you'd put in this boundary and ask people for help, but people had actually been crying out to bring something or help you or contribute for years?
Of course. Of course. People wanted to feel a part of it. And I was actually stopping people from being a part of it by insisting on, you know, killing myself.
Being so selfless.
The Christmas martyr.
Correct. I mean, it is absolutely nuts. And the things that I would get stressed about, I mean, seriously, I would get stressed about whether the plates or the cups or the bottles on the bar were straight enough, or like, it was insane. I'm putting my hand up, insanity next level. So that is the people pleaser. And truly putting boundaries in place can stop this trigger, stop this default. Just know your self-worth, know what you can and can't do, and be happy to say, I appreciate and I respect and, or I agree and. So yeah, next one.
So this is my best pal, the cynic and the critic. And for a bit of context, I worked for years in PR in the music industry. And so especially around Christmas time, it was, you know, client end of year parties, venue end of year parties. There were then special gigs for this, fundraisers for this. It was full on party time. Now, my cynic, I guess, was I had absolutely no sense of self-worth. I didn't even think it was a thing that I'd ever considered I didn't have. It was so low. And basically, I didn't want people to think I was just that fat chick, to be honest. Didn't want them to think that. So I put on a mask. I was fun. I was good times. I was make the joke before anyone else did. I was last one standing. I was working the room, not remembering anyone's names, not making a real impact, probably just being a bit of a dick, if I'm going to be honest. And then what would happen was I was so angry that no one ever saw me as anything more than fun, good times. I wasn't the person that was put on the account for something. I was the person that was going to be, the band liaison, take them to the interviews, do all the legwork because you're really easy to get along with. I wasn't the person making these really big connections at these parties. I was the person hanging in the corner with the same group of people in the same situation as me, drinking all the free booze, and it was just, I did not feel good enough. I was in the corner judging everyone. I assumed they were in the corner. Like, I assumed everyone was judging me. I had no self-worth, but I thought everyone was talking about me. The mask didn't work. It just didn't work. And there was no gratitude for anything that I was doing. I didn't appreciate these parties. I didn't appreciate the incredible, talented people that I was hanging around with. I didn't appreciate that between December and January, I got to go to 1 million free gigs, which should be the thing that got me into it in the first place, right? It was all these superficial things just had a monumental importance. It was constantly flipping between being so judgmental and cynical and then being so critical and feeling judged myself. Didn't work, doesn't work. Oh. But how did it change? Not quickly. Baby steps. But like doing things that made me feel accomplished. Now, on this slide, it says building up your worthiness quota. When I was putting these baby steps in, I had no idea what a worthiness quota was. Like what? No, it was at that point in the thick of this, baby steps. It is putting in boundaries, saying no to things that I would usually say yes to out of pressure of feeling judged. It would be having an opinion rather than making a joke. It would be, talking about myself and my accomplishments and actually networking at these events. Now, these are situations that I didn't realize until yesterday how much this had changed. Yesterday, I got an invitation to my 20-year high school reunion that is going to be held in January. Why you would put a 20-year high school reunion for an all-girls school, all-girls Catholic school, in the thick of the silly season, I am left speechless. But my initial thought was, oh, I hope they have name tags. My phone blew up with a whole bunch of my friends going, I'm not married, I don't have kids, I need to go to the gym, my job's shit, I need to change jobs. Oh my God, I'm still the person I was 20 years ago, blah, 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 blah. And literally my thought was, fuck, I hope they have name tags. And it was that moment that made me go, huh, this worthiness quota thing might might have something to it. So how does that I mean, I've seen Jazz giggling a bit. I feel like that's something that resonates a bit there. But yeah, does anyone else kind of feel that cynic critic combo happening?
The thing that cured me of cynicism and judgment was when I learnt that perception is projection. And if I was judging someone else, it was because I felt so badly about myself that I was actually judging myself. And boy, oh boy, was that a slap in the face. And I just went, oh, okay. So I guess.
Right? I was going to say it's that contribution, not competition.
100%. 100, and that is the key, right? I love this. Like if you can genuinely talk about things that other people have accomplished and be truly happy for them. Because as you said, Jess, life's not about competition. It's about collaboration and contribution. And we all do things differently.
Yeah. Well, it's almost as simple as, I mean, even this statement, it's once you are comfortable and happy to share who you really are, that sincere connection becomes possible. And there's no way that you can be sincerely happy for other people's accomplishments if you're not sincerely happy for your own. You know, it's, yeah.
So what does anyone else think about this? I'm really curious how this plays out for you in the holiday season. Or does it? Maybe it doesn't. You know, I'm going to ask you if you don't. You know I'm going to ask.
I was going to say I unmuted myself.
Yeah, good.
I don't think it plays out so much at holiday season, but it certainly plays out often enough with the stories and voices in my head on every other day of the week. I don't think it's specifically holiday season.
Oh, yeah, usually this thing just doesn't wait until holiday season. No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Jazz?
Mine would be the judgment, and I'm judging someone for allowing them to do something that I would never allow myself to do. So like, brother, obviously the family expects that we are there for Christmas Day and that's what you got to do, and I would never do anything but that, right? And then when Nathan does what he wants, I might not want to be there, but I know I have to be there, or I'm playing into that expectation anyway. My brother does what he wants, and I'm judging him hard because I'm like, well, I would never do that. Even though I'm really bothered.
I would never do that.
I would never do that. Yeah.
Oh, I love that awareness. It really does make us stop, doesn't it? And go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Chloe?
I was kind of similar to Jess, like with the work, all the functions and stuff. I was known as the fun one and the one that was always going out and, you know, where are we going next? And I'd have everything organized. I was the organizer. And even though I didn't want to go, I was like, I want to go home to bed. I had to be the last one there. Like, yeah, that expectation that, you know, I finally figured out no one cared if I was there because no one knew what they were doing or where they were.
Yeah.
But it was me going, I can't leave. I have to stay. I have to do everything. I have to go to every event. And, you know, even though I didn't want to be there, hated being there. But it was, yeah, that thing that, oh my God, if I don't go, they're going to hate me. Well, I thought I'd get fired, but, you know, they're going to hate me and I'm only good, you know, like I have to be the best. And that, yeah, image of like always had to be perfect, had to look perfect, had a new outfit for every event in December. And yeah.
Sounds
expensive. Oh,
been nice.
Yeah, very expensive. Yeah. And the thing is, well,
oh yeah,
go on. Yeah.
I was saying my credit card in January was
all year to pay off the wardrobe in December. Yeah. Then the thing is, well, if you're wearing a mask, you're only going to attract people who are attracted to the mask. So ultimately, you're not going to attract people that you want to connect with. And then you're worried because you don't know anyone who you really do want to connect with because you're so busy, and then you feel like you don't fit anywhere. Like it's just this crazy nutso world.
It's exhausting.
Yes.
Pretending to be someone you're not, or pretending to be someone that you think people want you to be, then trying to seem like you're being genuine when you're not being genuine, and then having to justify to people who know who you are that you're actually really happy with what you're doing. Exhausting. And then judging everything in the interim.
When do you find time to sleep?
Oh, you don't need to.
And then the pushover. And why does this never work? Because you seldom get what you want, and then you get resentful. All right. Now, I would find, like, while I was the people pleaser, in my own sort of festivities and things, when it came to, say, for example, every second Christmas being mum's place, all right, I'd just be like, hands off, just tell me what to do. You know, like, if I can't take charge, then I'm not going to do it. Like, just tell me what to do, right? So then she'd say, okay, Kathy, can you do this? And I'd be, yeah, sure, what's everyone else bringing? And then I'll say, and then I'd be really resentful that it feels like I'm doing more work than someone else, or it's not what I want to do anyway, because I'm actually better at doing that thing that she's doing, and all this garbage. But I would just go along with it and not just. It must have been infuriating because I wouldn't give any input. There would be no feedback. There would just be, oh, yeah, fine, I'll do it then. Feeling like the victim, that's so unfair. Why do I get the shit jobs? Oh, well, probably you can put your hand up and say, I'll do this, right? And a lot of times we sit in that pushover thing because it is that thing. It's that passive aggressive way of having control when you feel that you can't have control, or it's that, or for some people it can be a fear of not wanting to make a decision and make the wrong one, so I just won't make a decision. But then when I get told what to do, I'm really cranky that I've been told that I've got to do that because that's not what I want to do. So there's all of that stuff playing out. And the way it changes is you just got to get brave, all right? And this, like, Jess and I both love this quote from Jasper Jones, which is a Craig Silvey book, because it is, in fact, you can see our tattoos there. When Jess went to Scotland, she and I both got the tattoos, and we got them done at the same time. And when we came out, you can see Jess's is got a baby bee, and it's quite fine. And she goes, "Aw, yours says brave, and mine says brave." And I went, "Yeah, but I'm the mama bear. I got to be brave." So how do you do this? You start small, all right? If you are doing this because you are terrified of making the wrong decision, so you don't want to make any decision, you start small and you take charge of something you know you can handle. So it might be for holiday festival, it might be something like picking up the bonbons, or, you know, being in charge of, organizing the soft drink, or whatever it is. Take that and say, I'll do this, and then follow through, you know. And it's just small, and just have the small wins and just own something and do it. And then this taking stock of your life, right? Why are you really sitting back? For me, it was because I couldn't be in charge. And if I can't be the one in charge, then I'm not even going to do anything, right? Bit of a ruler in shadow there. So I needed to get over myself and realize that, again, it's about contribution. It's not about being in charge. Because part of me was also, I had this control freak thing where I needed to control everything in order to make sure it was exactly how I wanted it to be so that I felt safe. All right. So if I couldn't do that, then I wasn't going to do anything because it didn't feel safe if I wasn't in control. So it's quite convoluted, but that was actually why I would be a pushover, because it didn't feel safe for me to be included and mushed up in somebody else's plans. So no. And the other thing is, what is it that you really want in your life? Do you want to contribute? Do you want to just sit back? I mean, if you want to just sit back, that's fine. But you'll know if you want to, because you won't get resentful. You'll just really appreciate and be grateful for everything that everyone's done. But if you're not, then it means that you don't want to sit back. but there's something stopping you. So what is it you really want? So guys, thoughts. Oh,
Prue.
well done, Prue. How does that feel?
Well, I actually hadn't given it any stock and any thought whatsoever until you started talking. I went, hang on a second, go me.
The thing that's really standing out for me about all of these different ways that we embody being scared or uncomfortable or having no self-worth or whatever it may be is that it's just, there's so many stories running. Like, it is just like this hamster wheel, even especially Mum, you just explaining why you were angry that you had to make a ham and someone had to bring a salad. The stories that made that upset you are,
And not one of them's true. Not
Right.
one of them's true, right?
but how much time did you dedicate to them? Like, you
Oh, yeah.
really, you like wrote the Odyssey.
I know, right? I wrote the Odyssey and I was holiday season exhausted from all the stress of having to live through all these stories and then, you know, deal with my family because clearly the stories were all true, right? And can you see, though, that they can all be happening at the same time? I can be doing all of them. I did. What a gift. What a
Overachiever.
what a gifted achiever I am. I could do all of them. What about you guys? Looking back over these three, what do you reckon? Chloe?
I don't know. My Christmas is very easy because I'm still one of the kids, so I don't do anything. I open my presents from Santa and eat all day.
How easy.
But yeah, I know it'll get harder one day.
Well, maybe it won't. If you know this stuff, it doesn't have to get hard. I mean, it really
Yeah, I
doesn't.
mean, yeah. My family's never been, I don't have cousins or anything. It's very small. And then we're not huge on Christmas. Like, it's very chill. No one except my sister,
So
who's
what about
already
the
putting
holiday
Christmas tree.
season in general? Because I know you're not in corporate anymore.
Yeah. I really don't know. Like, I've already said no to quite a few things that I just don't want to go to,
Mm-hmm.
which
Amazing.
has been a big step. Sort of normally I'd just say yes, but oh my God, what are they going to think of me? But yeah, this year I've gone, no, and not making excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before I go, I've actually got this on, I can't go, so I can't make it, sorry. And some I've said, I just don't want to go.
Perfect. How good is that? That's very
So,
cool.
yeah, that's
Sorry?
a good feeling when I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just saying it's a really good feeling, just saying no.
Yes, it is. Yes. Discernment 101. Yeah. Say no if it doesn't align. Yeah. Jazz?
I think this year I'm gonna have to check myself, regulate my nervous system, and my family is the opposite. They love Christmas. It's huge. There's loads of stuff happening. I will probably have double up invites because it's the first time I've been back for Christmas for 10 years as well. So everyone's going to want me to come to everything. Everyone's going to want to see as much of me as possible because obviously why not? And my little inner people pleaser is not going to want to let anyone down. But it's going to be a good opportunity to practice speaking my own needs instead and finding balance.
Isn't it ever? And I'm with you. I love the holidays. Love
it. Yeah.
Jess and I start planning Christmas in August or September. The menus and what we're going to do and how we're going to. And this year is going to be lots of babies and toddlers, and it's going to be a different kind of Christmas. And I will need to remember that I don't have to do it all, that it can be simple. It can be really simple. We could even use like paper napkins, for example.
Well, how easy was it delegating the list yesterday? You were on Instagram on the couch. Someone was feeding a baby. I was making cookies. And it was just like, okay, so so-and-so will bring this. All right, well, put me down for da-da-da-da-da. Assume someone took notes and sorted, done.
Yeah, correct. Simples. So Jess, what do you think you have to watch out for?
Blatant honesty is going to be not expecting everyone to react the same way or not react the same way that I would. So not everyone that I come into contact with in the 3 months that I'm going to be out here, which is the whole silly season, is going to have done crap loads of work on this kind of stuff.
Correct.
So not being that, almost being that critic cynic in a different way. The thing that I will have to watch is not judging people for reacting, for being triggered, for, basically get off my high horse.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll give you a shove.
I don't think there's going to be a saddle. I'll be fine. No one's helping me up there.
You won't be there long.
No.
What about you, Prue?
I think that given that there's going to be 2 additional families joining in Brisbane this year for our family Christmas, I think I'm going to have to work very hard on those agreement frames of I appreciate and I respect and, because as the baby sister, I do still get bossed around, and I don't react very well to that in past times.
No, and I'm going to suggest that the reason is because you've let it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you're going to just say, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have said that before, and it's just, it's not always received very well, but I just need to then not get sucked into that.
Yeah. You're not responsible for someone else's perception of your boundary.
Correct.
That's the invitation for them to look at what's going on for them. Doesn't mean they will, of course, but that's what the invitation is. Right?
One of them is aware of those things, the other one not so much, and that ain't my business anyway. They can deal with it however they want.
Correct. Look at you. Yeah. So in finishing up, just for Christmas, your holiday survival depends on knowing your boundaries and sticking to them, right? 101. That's the biggest. Focusing positively on the efforts of others and remembering they have their own shit going on. Crew. They have their own shit going on, right? And contributing in a way that is meaningful to you. And this is whether it's work stuff, family stuff, school stuff, whatever it is.
Conversation stuff, belief stuff, politics stuff, whatever it is.
There are a lot of triggers that happen for other people, and we're discussing ours. And the reality is that a lot of people don't even realize they have triggers. They just get triggered and feel that it's because they're right, obviously, and everyone else is wrong. They can't see that it's a thing that's happening for them. So I guess that is, excuse me, these things, boundaries, just focus positively on the efforts of others, be grateful for what others are doing, and contribute only in a way that works for you. End of story. So anything to add to that before we move on? Anyone throw in anything in there? Is there anything that's come up that you go, and you should also do this, or and
Nervous system regulation before you respond.
there you go. Yes. 100% nervous system regulation. Absolutely. I think we'll all be running off to the bathroom for 2 minutes. Breathe, breathe. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes,
Beautiful.
Ivy joined in on your breathing exercise, Jazz, and I think she's now sitting here going, "Can I just do all these stuff for you, Mum, instead of you?" I'm like, "No, go away."
Ah, yes. Miss Ivy, nervous system regulation. Brilliant. Bring it on. Ivy's 10. Is she 10? Yeah. Yeah. So what I do
Yeah, she's 10.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I do want to do, though, is share a bit about the Catalyst Transformation Crew, because this is the passion that Jess and I have for helping other people shine their light as brightly as they can. Now, Jazz has been with us through the year. And Jazz, can I indulge myself and ask you, what is it about the crew? Like, why did you decide to join?
Well, first of all, my initial reason for joining was like knowledge. Like I had been in senior leadership roles within companies where it was like, okay, we're going to do this big like idea, and I had 100 people that would then go in and actually execute it. Being a small business owner, it's like, oh shit, I need to know how to do all that stuff myself now, and I don't even know how much of that stuff there even is. Like, I don't know what I don't know. So definitely knowledge, first of all. And yeah, I've gained so much knowledge. I've learned so much stuff, and I've gained so much confidence in those things as well. Like especially around socials and things like that was like terrifying at first.
Now you're nailing it.
Amazing.
And so what do you think, like thinking back over the last year, so 3 big things that you now have?
Obviously a massive increase in knowledge and a massive increase in confidence, and also the like community that comes along with it too. Like I've made like actual friends and spent time with people like in person outside of Catalyst, and collaborating and working together as well, which is really cool because it can be a bit lonely being a sole trader on your own. So having other people in the same boat has been really nice.
Absolutely it is. And for me, I do love the community. Like, and I love that you and Megan have gone off and done stuff and just
Water time on that front.
Yeah, all of that. Like, it's brilliant. So yeah, thank you for sharing. Okay. And moving forward, what are you hoping to gain out of it?
There's still more stuff that I haven't even landed on yet, I'm sure. And I guess I've got a pretty solid foundation now. So the next year is like growth. I need to get myself out there, increase my audience, and help as many people as I can. And being part of this is going to give me the tools to do that.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So with transformation, what we do is we have 4 intakes a year. And every intake comes through a foundations boot camp, because it's 3 intensive days where you work on your business, so that you have the basics that you can then bring into transformation. Because coming into transformation, just coming in, wouldn't work, because people have a language and knowledge and a philosophy and an understanding that you would be very hard to pick up. So what we want is for you to come in, work on your business, 3 big days of doing, so that then you can move on into transformation. And this really gives you a kickstart, and then you keep working through. So on the boot camp, we cover off lots of different things. We get you doing your introductory statements, learning how to tell your story, finding your ideal client, your product, your package, working that out, contents and assets, your
Lots of work
milestones
on
in life.
socials and content plans, and
Yeah.
you being your brand, and yeah, lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. And then we also have to look at structure and compliance, because there are some things that you do need to do. We look at your voice statement. We help you craft your own discovery calls so that with your message, your story, your voice, you get to understand how to lead potential clients toward working with you. And then we talk about money beliefs, because that's a biggie that stops a lot of people from growing a successful business. And so 4 times a year, and our next one that was up there was November. And then, as I said, from there, we lead on into transformation. So there you go. So this is transformation. It is a full year where you have 21 masterclasses every fortnight, 11 workshops where we sit with you for 2 hours, Jess and I are there, and we are just working. And if you need work
on our business,
we're just all working on our business. There's the speakers' corners where Jazz has honed her message. There's the boot camps, which you can come and keep doing. There's retreats. And then you also get all the replays and private coaching options as well. So there is a lot happening in the 12 months. We actually give you 14 months, but you pay for 12, so that over the holiday season, or if you have a break or whatever it is, you can still well and truly get your year's worth. So then what we are offering, the transformation, that's $7,500, and then you have a choice of your private coaching. So it's either a 12-session package, and you split those between Jess and I. We work on different aspects of your business, or a 24-session package. So that the total yearly investment starts at $15,500. And of course, we have payment options. So if you are interested, you can reach out and chat to me or chat to Jess, and you can find either of us there.
And I would suggest anyone as well who is interested in finding out a bit more about not just the business side of stuff, but about the stuff side of stuff. Join us in the Catalyst Crew Facebook group. That's open to people who aren't just members of Transformation as well. It's open to everyone. It's, sometimes we're sharing photos of nephews. It's just a place. Honestly, when you're going through this stuff, it can sometimes get lonely. Your mates don't understand some of the time. Your family might not understand. Your values and priorities are changing. And it's just nice to know that there's a place you can go where people get the shit that you're going through. And that's what the crew's about.
And that's what the crew's about. So the Facebook crew is there for you to just get in and do that. I know when I did this, I remember saying something to Jess early on when I was in my coaching, going like, I feel like I'm in transition, but right now it's really lonely, because
also I hadn't done this work and I thought you were in a cult. So yeah. I was still in the thick of my own shit. So.
Correct. And my mother was like, well, it's your money. I guess you can do whatever you like. And my friends were thinking the same thing. And there was no one I could speak to. So that's why we created the crew. So whether or not you work with us, what we want you to do is to join the crew, or keep coming to the open nights, because the open nights every month are different. We have different speakers and we talk about different things as well. And our hope is that the things that we share, like these holiday survival guide, that you can use with clients, because I know, Chloe, that you're talking about nutritional coaching, all right? There's a lot of triggers and a lot of emotional eating happens over Christmas. So even being able to share some of these tips with someone who is you know, you will at some level also be life coaching or inner work coaching, right? It comes with the territory. So my hope as well is that this stuff is also useful for you, not only personally, but professionally.